Right. Still got a little bit of background noise there. So if you let me just give me a sec. Just mute. Right. Awesome. Awesome. Ready to go. So yes, as Anders said, we've known each other for maybe a few weeks now, and we've recently got into business together. But I wanted to give you a bit of background about myself. My name is Rowan Bond. I'm 28 years old, and I've been involved with this particular opportunity now for 7 months. But my background is in property management. I worked in property management for the last 3 years until I actually found out about this opportunity, as I said, 7 months ago, where I initially started part-time. And to be honest, I didn't really actually want anything to do with the industry of direct sales and network marketing anymore, just because I tried it in the past. Like some people on this call may have tried it before, and I had some success, but there was a lot of selling to be done, and not everybody could sell. And so I decided to park that, that was actually the first 5 years after university that I was doing that for, before I made the transition and actually went into property management. And so that's why I didn't want anything to do with this. But when I actually found out about this company at the beginning, before it actually had a brand and a name of iBoomerang, what actually got my attention was that it's being started by a person called Holton Buggs. Now, Holton Buggs, and actually had the opportunity to see him on the weekend on Saturday, and I mean, I would love to take the accolade for why Ander got really interested in this, but it was really Holton Buggs because he's been in
Yeah,
this industry.
it was him. Yeah.
It was him. And yeah, he's been in this industry for 29 years now, had a lot of success over the past 10 years. He'd made over 110 million US dollars. So this company, even though the company itself is 5 weeks old, but it's been in pre-launch for 6 months. This is not your traditional startup in the sense of it's not somebody that started it from their bedroom or from their garage. This guy started the company from a mansion and with 29 years of experience. So it's pretty much like Jeff Bezos starting another e-commerce business again, but already having the success behind him and knowing exactly what he's doing. So that's what got my interest. And if he does come back to the UK, he's a very busy man. So if he ever does come back to the UK and you're actually in the UK, I would definitely recommend to see him. If you're into mindset and personal development at all, and just into business, this guy is an amazing person to learn from. So that's what really attracted me. And so fast forward 7 months on, in the first 2.5 months I was in the business, I actually got made redundant, but I already started building a foundation for my business. And so 4 weeks after getting made redundant, I was actually started to make double the amount of money that I was actually making in my job. And so from that, I've just continued to grow my business. And now I actually don't have to go back and work 9 to 5, which I'm very grateful for. But now it's more about not just doing it for myself, but also putting up people in a position where potentially, I'm not saying to do this full time. I'm saying if you see an opportunity for yourself, do it alongside what you're already doing, very much like Anders doing right now, alongside all the other projects that she's already running. So or the existing job that you have. So I'm going to take you through what it is today in the opportunity of iBoomerang. But as I said, there's money to be made, and I've made a lot of it. But at the same time, that you do have to put the time and effort into it if you want to actually get the results that you're looking for and actually get a reward back. It's like anything that you do in life, you have to put time and effort in to get the results that you're looking for. Now, with this, you can probably tell the industry itself is network marketing. Most people have heard of this industry before or even been involved in this industry. But what the CEO of this company had done, as I said, he's been around in the industry for 29 years and had not just been in the industry, had a lot of success in the industry. He said it's time for the industry to evolve because if you look at every other industry out there in the world, every industry is evolving right now and technology is basically taking over the world. Traditional business, the way of traditional business is not lasting much longer. And many people didn't believe that until they saw companies like Thomas Cook closing down because, having shop fronts is not the way forward anymore. And so what he said is, well, if you look at the taxi industry, the biggest taxi provider in the world now is actually Uber, but they don't actually own any taxis. You look at the accommodation industry, the company that provides the most accommodation is Airbnb, but they don't own any properties. And then if you look at retail, the biggest e-commerce, the biggest retailer in the world is Amazon. And again, they don't own any of the products that are on their platform. So the owner of this company said, well, what if I've evolved the industry by not owning any of the products on our platform, but we can sell everything to our customers. And so what he said is creating a first-class consumer experience, very much like the companies I've just spoken about, but he created a perpetual residual income builder. And what that is in short is that you offer one product to a customer, and let's say this was Amazon. Let's say you offered a book to a customer. You recommended for them to go and buy a book, and then they went and bought some headphones from Amazon. They went and bought a computer from Amazon. They went and bought a phone, etc. Everything else that they buy from Amazon, you would actually get paid a commission for everything else that they bought on that same platform, even though you never told them about it, and you never had to sell it to them. And so this is what the technology is. So he's using a mixture of the new technology of artificial intelligence and data analytics to understand the customers, what the customers' buying habits are, and then actually offer those products to the customers at the time that they need it, using technology. So there's no selling involved. There was no chasing customers like I'd had to do in the past. It was all done through technology. So that was something that really caught my eye and caught my attention, because I've never seen that before. Everything was normally done by somebody actually selling a product. So the reason why he done this is because if you think about the fastest growing companies in the world right now, not one of them actually has a sales rep. And so that's why he created the technology, which like the other companies, to do that. And so the old model was traditionally that customers would pay more for a product by buying it from yourself. As a member or a distributor of a company, they would actually have to pay more buying it from you. But actually, they could actually go on Amazon and actually buy it cheaper on Amazon than you could actually get it as a member. And that was the same for myself. And that is why that old model is outdated. And a lot of network marketing companies are actually going backwards now, because it's product based, and most of their products, and anybody that has a large customer base, somebody would have heard of Herbalife or any of these companies. All of their products are on Amazon, and customers go there to buy it instead of actually going direct to the company. And so with that, that's why it was only really the strong recruiters, people that could build a large organization, that really actually started to make money with this industry, until the owner made a new model, is that the only way you can make money is by customers saving money from our platform, but by buying products and services that they already buy. Remember, I spoke about using artificial intelligence and data analytics to understand the buying habits, but these are products that you're already buying. Now, imagine if you can buy every product you're buying now, but at a discounted price from the same company. Everybody would do that. And that's the model that he's basically created. And you're probably thinking, well, how does that work? I thought the same thing. And so this is how he's done it. And he's done it through the first industry, which is one of the biggest industries in the world, which is the travel industry. So the travel industry itself is an $8 trillion industry. And you look at Asia, $6 billion spent a day, Europe, $4.8 billion spent a day, United States, $2.8 billion spent a day. But the reason why I was attracted to that is because from a business point of view, if even with recessions in place, people always travel. When people love to travel, whether it be for pleasure or people have to travel because it's their job. And so the travel industry is not going anywhere. In fact, it's only going to get bigger because of the internet and social media right now. It's actually projected to double in terms of the size of the travel industry in the next 10 years. And so when you look at the secret of the travel industry, this is the bit that most people did not know about. And so this is why I was this is the slide that made a lot of sense to me. Is that it's only two companies that monopolize the entire industry of travel. So you have the Bookings Holding, which is on the left, and Expedia Group, which is on the right, and they are the actual travel agencies. But underneath them, all the sites that we look at on a day-to-day basis to book our travel, they're actually not travel agencies. They're all just marketing sites and owned by two companies, not all these different 10 different companies you can see on the screen right now, well, more than 10. And so they actually have price parity. They control the lowest price that we see through Kayak, and they control the highest price that we see on, say, Booking.com. They have the price parity, so they control the pricing via all the different websites that we see online, and they spend millions on marketing through these sites, but all through the internet rather than having shop fronts. And so what we did is, well, when I say we, I mean that the owner of the company did, is he partnered with a travel agency called Extreme Travel that have the same wholesale buying power as Expedia Group and Bookings Holdings. So they can actually get what is called behind the curtain pricing, which is the cheapest price possible for any form of travel. But instead of creating marketing sites, they actually pass the savings on to people like me and you. And you're probably thinking Extreme Travel may not have heard of them before. That's because it's a private membership club. But they just last year, they've done just over 130 million in travel, and they've been around for 19 years now. But they've won multiple awards in the travel industry because of their customer experience over the last 19 years. And so you can see not only that they've won these awards, but they won them repeatedly. They've won them time after time after time. And so this is the company that is partnered with iBoomerang. We don't own any of the travel, but this company that we've partnered with, Extreme Travel, they provide the travel platform for us. Now, how it works is that you have your own iGo, which is short for iGo for Less, wholesale travel booking platform. So it pretty much looks the same as Hotels.com, Booking.com, Expedia, but you actually get up to 70% off the retail prices what you'd normally see on Booking.com or Hotels.com. But the way you actually earn travel bonuses is by referring the travel to Extreme Travel. As a member, you actually also enjoy highly discounted exclusive experiences and member-only trips. But the biggest thing is that you have the inventory of over $8 trillion at your fingertips, where you can do it from your mobile phone, from your computer, and that is a massive industry. You don't need a huge amount of that to make a considerable amount of income. And so this is what I started to look at. I started to look at some of the deals. I said, well, show me the deals. And so this is what we have here. You have New York City. This is a 4.5-star hotel on Expedia. Was $339 per night. But on our iGo site, it was for the same dates, and same amount of people, was $178 with a saving of $161. Now, if you look at Paris, France, there's a 4-star hotel on Travelocity, was $440 per night, but on our site was $130. So the saving was $310. And so that's, again, for the same room, same hotel. You then have car rental as well with the rentalcars.com in New York. The Chevrolet Cruze was $392 for the week. On our site for the same week was $221, so the saving was $171. Then have Las Cabos in Mexico, was $834 in total on Hotels.com. On our site was $552, so the saving was $282. And so that is what I was looking at as a business model, saying if a customer is saving that amount of money, then they're pretty happy, but they don't know that I get a bigger saving. So I would actually make, let's say a customer booked a week over in Los Cabos, Mexico. They saved $282. I would make $141 because they saved $282. And that is the business model that I was pretty excited about. I didn't really need to understand everything else because there was no website at the time. But then I looked at the reservations. I said, okay, well, how many people are actually using this platform to book? And to date, we've had more than 40,000 bookings online. That's why the turnover of the company has been well over 20 million US dollars. But this is how it comes through. So the reservation comes through with the cost that you paid. It will then tell you the amount of reward credits, which is like loyalty points you can use towards future travel. And then it also shows you the savings that you made compared to using a public site like Booking.com, Hotels.com, etc. It then shows you the saving, as I said before. Now, these are just a few different examples, but this is actually how it comes through to you. And then you actually have the core services. So with the core services, you have the hotels. We also have rental cars. We have cruises as well. You then have flights. There's no discount on flights, so just so you know. But then we have homes, which is like your Airbnb type homes. And then you have your sort of luxury homes as well. You have the weeks, 1 week vacations for specific weeks at different times of the year, which will give you like next to nothing prices for 1 week vacations. That will also help where you also have the marketplace and timeshare, additional lifestyle activities as well, like wine clubs, shore excursions, gift cards, I know you can use the reward points on ASOS, as well as also you also have restaurant savings as well. Now, the big thing for us as well is that if for any reason that you do find it lower on another public site, we also have a price guarantee, which means we'll give you 110% of the difference if you do find it cheaper on another public website. Now, with that, you also, the question for many people is, do you boomerang? And the reason why we asked that, and the answer for many people is yes, I boomerang, is two reasons really, is because when you throw out a boomerang, normally the boomerang will come back to you if you throw it out the right way. And so that's the philosophy of the company. When you give out goodwill, when you give out the savings to customers, it comes back to you in commission. And that is the example of throwing out the boomerang. So how it basically works here is when you share 50% of the savings with friends and family, that's actually how you make commissions. Customers enjoy 50% of the available savings that do what a member would actually get. So if I saved 70% going to Cancun, for instance, then the customer, if they looked at the exact same week, they would save up to 35%. For the exact same week. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of that. But then you have 50% that goes to you, and the other bit goes to compensation plan. But we also have the exclusive on receiving savings back in cash. And so that's important as well, because we do have companies that are trying to copy this model now because of how lucrative it has been so far. But you also have an example here. So this is something that we put together. This is on the left-hand side is what a member site. And let's say for this particular deal, what we looked at is Playa del Carmen, 4.5-star hotel, all inclusive. And it was the cheapest price that was found was $4,867. That looked at hotels.com, Expedia, booking.com, etc. It looked at all the different sites, and that's the cheapest price that was found. And then on our site, there was a 70% saving for that particular week. And what actually that meant is that we saved $3,399 booking that trip. So as a member, we would pay $1,467. But let's say our customer looks at the exact same week, they only get 50% of the available savings. So the customer will see 35% saving, and so they would save just under $1,700. So the customer is pretty happy. But let's say that it was you, the customer was, say, your mom or auntie or whoever you want it to be, but you gave out that boomerang, and your mom or auntie saved $1,700 booking Playa del Carmen 4.5-star. What would happen is 50% of that would come back to you in a travel bonus. So you would make just under $850 in commission, and then the rest would actually go into the compensation plan into the company. Now, if you're thinking, well, how is that paid out in profit? That's because the customer in this example has paid $1,700 more than what we would pay as a member. So the difference of $1,700 between us and the customer is where the profit is actually paid. Okay. And so this is how it works. Let's just say you're super busy, and maybe you have 4 or 5 businesses or 3 or 4 jobs. And so let's just look at the customer acquisition model to start off with. Let's say that you do know at least 10 people, because I know everybody knows at least 10 people that travel at least one time a year, and they save an average of, say, $600, euros or pounds, whatever country or currency you're working with, and the total saving is 6,000. That would mean that 50% of that would come back to you in 3,000. And that would be every single year, because if the customer is saving 600 on our platform compared to using others, they're going to continue to come back to our platform to save. And so that's just being conservative. But then let's look at maybe being a bit more moderate. Let's say you want to get out more customers, or let's say it took you a two-year period to get 100 customers. This is the kind of income that would be coming back to you with 100 customers taking 1 trip a year. And so then we have the more aggressive, but these numbers start to scare people. But these numbers we will actually get to. The reason being is because we have an Uber concept here, where very soon it will be made available that customers will be able to recommend our platform to other people that they know. But we won't just tell them to recommend it, we'll incentivize them to recommend it. So what we'll do is we'll say that the holiday you're just about to take, if you recommend it to 5 friends, we're going to give you an extra $50 or £50 off of your hotel. And so when they recommend it to those 5 friends, because that initial customer is not part of the business, the 5 friends and family members they recommend it to all comes back to you. And that happens for every single customer. And so That is why people will have a lot of customers. Even though they introduce a few, they will have a lot of customers that you get paid for. And that's the PRIB that I was talking about a bit earlier. But let's say you looked at the team building. Now, this bit here is the network marketing side. But prior to that, I've never seen a model where you can make that amount of income where there's no selling, there's no chasing customers, and there was no recruiting involved. Now, let's say you do want to build a larger business like myself, and now Anda, because we understand that this can benefit people. Let's say you have 50 team members over a period of time that have 10 customers, which is 500 customers extra. They're taking one trip a year, and their average saving is $600 or pounds, euros, and now the customer volume is 575. So that means that you get 10% of what those customers have actually saved. So you'd actually make an extra 20,000 a year on just having a team of 50 that have 10 customers each. Now I can go over the bigger numbers as well, but again, I don't want to scare people on the call because there's some big numbers. But then there's also other ways of getting paid. There's 7 in total. I'm just going to show you 4 today. There's a direct sales bonus, which is when you introduce someone new to the business, take out a package, the coach, business, or first class, you get a one-time commission for introducing them. And then you also have a dual team bonus. And this is basically where you start to grow an organization. If you not only based on people you introduce, but who else is also introduced from your initial introductions, you can actually get paid up to 250,000 per week on that. That's the maximum. And I can go into that in a bit more detail if people have questions about that a little bit later. But in terms of actually getting started and the cost of getting started, when putting this in perspective, if any of you have started companies before, then put it into perspective the cost of actually getting set up and also for the potential return that you have. I know for myself, I invested about £850 start off with. I've never had to reinvest into my business from that, and it's paid me just over £20,000 in the last 7 months. So I want you to bear that in mind when looking at the investment and what is going to fit you best. But in terms of getting started, you have the standby, which is $49.95. And that gives you one customer site, 5 boomerangs you can send out starting off with. Then also have 25% of referral commissions. That's if you refer a large group of people. Let's say someone wants to have a wedding abroad, then you refer them to Extreme Travel. They take care of the entire booking and give you 25% of the commission. You then have an interactive presentation that does all the talking I've just done, but that's interactive. It's literally touchscreen. They can see if they want to click on the savings and just understand the savings, customer acquisition model, or team building, etc. And then you have the management system that tracks your business from everywhere in the world. Also allows you to, it tells you when a customer has booked, where have they booked, and how much you're going to make in commission. Because once you give out that boomerang, the customer can go on the customer site anytime they want and book travel without even telling you. But what would happen is it connects back to your site, and then you'll get a notification saying this person's just booked. This is how the commissions you're going to make. And so that is a bit that I liked as well, because I could be at work or I could be on holiday. Customers are booking travel, and I'm going to get paid for it. And I don't even have to speak to them because they have a platform to look at to book themselves. So that gives the customers a bit of freedom there. But then you also have the actual packages of getting started if you want to make commission from the business. And so with this, you have the coach class. This actually gives you access to the hotels, gives you access to the flights and to the rental cars for yourself, your own personal use, up to 70% discount. You then have 10 boomerangs, and it gives you 50% of the available profit in cashback. What that basically means is if a customer saves £100, then instead of getting the full £50 cashback, you'd actually get £25. But then you also get 10% in the dual team and general release from luxury experiences, which I spoke about earlier. And that is $250, which is basically £200. You then also have the business class, gives you everything that's in the coach, but you have 25 boomerangs and the full 100% cashback, full £50 if a customer saved 100. 12% in the dual team, 1 week pre-sale of luxury experiences. That's a business class, which is around £450, $500. And then you have the first class, which has everything that is actually on the platform, but also has 50 boomerangs. And with that also has 15% in the dual team, and then 2 weeks pre-sale for the luxury experiences, which is a one-time fee of $1,000, which is about £850. And that's the one-time fee to get you set up. That's your business. You're ready to go now. But Now, with that, to keep your business running, just like, as I said, you know, if Thomas Cook could have paid £80 a month to keep their business running, they would have definitely bitten your hand off, anybody, to keep their business afloat. But with this, it's £80 a month to not only maintain your website, but also all of your customers' websites. And that's unlimited. You can have as many customers if you want, as well as also then having 10 boomerangs that will come to you every month. As well as the Prib, the technology doing the selling for you, which is the Prib. I just want to touch on that a bit more before I show you some examples. That is where this is not a travel company. That's the bit that I saw at the beginning. I thought, oh, this is all about travel, but we're not a travel company. The owner said he's going to use the Uber concept and the Amazon philosophy, put them together and create a business. What he meant by that is using the travel, because that's what most people are excited about, to bring the customers in the same way that Uber brought their customers in with taxis. And now we're about to launch our own mobile, Boom Mobile, which is our mobile phone tariff, which is going to be cheaper than what you would normally find in the market. And then also, more additionally to that, is Vibe Rides, which is our own rideshare company, which is, and I'm going to give you a bit of an idea about that. There's 3 main companies in the US that do taxis. There's Uber, there's a company called Lyft, and there's a newer company called Vibe Rides. So Vibe Rides came to the owner of the company and said, we want to partner with you. We understand the growth of the company. But instead of partnering, the owner, Holton Buggs, bought the company Vibe Rides, and now is going to expand that all around the world. So that basically means that every time somebody takes a taxi that is in your organization, you'd actually get paid for that. So that's where he said, you know what, I'm not only going to do that, I'm going to bring it to every market where we can use the leverage of our customers to get discounts from any company in the world. We're going to do the exact same thing. So that is the concept that we actually have today. That's what really attracted me, because it wasn't just about travel. It's about anything out there that is wanted by our customers. But is this decisions about the partnerships that we make is all driven by the data that we have from our customers. Now, what I wanted to do is give you a rough idea of how that works, because I've got a 4-year plan. My 4-year plan is to have 10,000 customers, and I know how I'm going to do that based on the model that we have, and me getting my own customers, and then the company using the referral program to incentivize my customers to go out and get more. Now, if you want to unmute your lines, anybody can give me an answer about how many customers they reckon they could get over the next 4 years. And everybody can unmute your lines, and maybe just one person give me an answer about how many customers and what they reckon the savings would be over 4 years for a customer. And I'll give you a rough, and then I'll give you an example of what the commissions looks like. Anyone? Okay, I'm gonna pick you then, Ander, because I know I haven't gone through this with you before. So maybe give me an example. Give me a number of what you think you could get in terms of customers over a 4-year period.
A lot. I say 1,000.
1,000.
I'll get 1,000 on part-time.
Okay, and based on the platform, I know you've had a chance to look at it now. What would you say the customer would save over 4 years? So let's just say they took 4 trips.
Depends.
Give me a number.
A year?
Yeah, let's say so let's say 1 year they saved 400, and then so times 4 would be 1,600.
So that's 1,600 per year per customer times 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That's math. That's
okay, so all right, so let's be conservative for everybody on the line. I'll be conservative because you know, even if we're not from the UK, most of us have been living in the UK a little while now, so we're conservative here. So let's just say a customer, these 1,000 customers are just saving £50 a year for the next 4 years. That's 200 total that they would be saving. Over 4 years, you'd be looking at 100,000 in commissions that would be paid back to you from those customers saving, right? And so this is what excited me, because I know that this platform that we have of customers, we're giving this away for free. Customers don't have to pay for this. We give it to them for free when they use it, the same way Uber gave their platform away for free. People used it and then kept coming back to them, and now using Uber Eats and Uber Coffee, etc. And many of the large companies right now giving their platforms for free so that we use it as consumers, and then they start selling us other products and services, right? So this is what I wanted to show you in terms of the figures. Myself, as I said, I'm going for 10,000 customers, but I know by what we're coming, because we don't only have travel, but we have loads of different products. I've talked about the mobile phone tariffs and the Vibe rides, but then we're about to announce some other deals. I know cinemas on the cards as well. I know fuel is also on the cards. I know other restaurants here in the UK are on the cards, and every country that we operate in, 157 right now, we're going to have partnerships for companies in that country. We're not creating our own product. We're finding out what customers want and giving it to them at a discounted price, so that we don't go to their competitor. That's the reason why companies are giving us this discount. And so I know over the next 4 years, customers will save around 1,000. And so that's the income that I'll be looking at. So that's it from me. I hope you took value from that in terms of taking time out of your busy schedules to take a look at this. But I know what I saw when I looked at this for the first time. And the main thing for me is that there's only really two decisions that you'll make from this. Is one, you'll decide to become a customer because you want to save money for yourself. And just like many other people, we all want to save money. I don't know anybody that doesn't want to save money. Or two, you actually want to decide to look at this a bit further and look at the opportunity. You see an opportunity, but maybe you have some questions. I still had questions, and I know many people will have questions if this is the first time you're seeing it. So I'll be available after this call where I can answer questions with Anda. She's fairly new, so she may not be able to answer most of the questions, but I'm definitely here to help and to answer these questions that you guys will have. So I'll pass it over to Anda to close out, and then I'll be available to answer any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was really, really good. I learned again a lot more.